Today we had talking from Georgia Southern College, Miami's own Charlton Young, who's a graduate of Miami Carroll City. And we also had NBA legend Isiah Thomas, a new head coach at FIU, to speak to the coaches from Dade and Broward County and Palm Beach County here today. I'm director of Tournament of Champions, which is a community-based nonprofit organization located here in Miramar. This is the Tournament of Champions College Coaches Clinic that we hold each year, right before we play the Florida team basketball camp. We have about 55 coaches here.
I'm Coach Aaron, head boys basketball coach, South Dade High School down in Homestead, Florida.
Melvin Randall from Blanchile High School, head coach. Was Broward County Coach of the Year.
Darrell Burrows, Dilla High School in Fort Lauderdale.
I'm Mark Lieberman from Monsignor Pace High School.
Picked up a lot of things to teach my guards. I've got 2 guards that's in Division I right now, and this is going to let me, develop my next couple of guards.
I think it's a very special event. It gives coaches ideas, new ideas of how to mold and groom your team, as well as the individuality of your players, and also to move forward with pushing these players that it's not just about basketball, it's about life as well.
Great coaching clinics, great events for our players. It's a wonderful event, and here at the Miramar Center was fantastic.
I want to say it's good for me to be home. I graduated from Carroll City in 1989, played on the state championship team in '88 for the great Ernie Bell. So I got a lot of great memories coming back to Dade County. My basketball career started here. Myself as a man was molded here. I'm now the head coach at Georgia Southern University in Statesboro, Georgia, where I was blessed to have a Hall of Fame career as a point guard there. But I want to say something to everybody in the room. I love being around coaches, especially high school coaches. If I had my choice, I would coach high school because you have an opportunity to make a bigger impact on a young man's life. It's very good for me to see all these coaches at a clinic trying to get better because I don't think you guys work so hard and you do so much, and sometimes you get beat down with the amount that you carry on your shoulders. But I want every coach in here to know, keep learning your trade, keep your head up, keep working to get these young men better and to make them disciplined, because whether you know it or not, you are saving lives every day. Today talked about the high school coaches about point guard development, tried to give them some tangible things to teach their point guards that they can take with them so when they get in the heat of battle, they can fall back on. The first thing I talked about was spins and turns, which is a term used to handle pressure. The second thing we talked about is the Majer's dribble. It's basically an escape dribble to handle pressure. The third thing we talked about was the kill dribble. The kill dribble is what you use as a perimeter player when you get in traffic to protect the ball, as opposed to trying to throw it through people or take it behind your back, which causes turnovers. The fourth thing we talked about was the separation dribble and mushing guys, which from an offensive standpoint, delivering the first blow, being low, going by people's shoulder to hip. And the last thing we talked about was controlling the channel offensively and defensively, which is the most critical part for a point guard.
It's been a long journey for me. Started when I was in grade school with men such as yourself who dedicated time to little youngsters such as myself. And I wasn't always blessed with great intelligence when it came to basketball. I was one of those kids that probably was gifted, like a lot of kids around here, a lot of kids that you coach. I was fast, I could run, I could jump, but when it came down to really understanding the game and playing the game at a very high level, it came from men and women such as yourself in the room. You never know who that little kid's gonna grow up to be, and one day he's gonna come back to the community and give back. And you don't know who that little kid's gonna be. That little kid is on your team right now, running, jumping, shooting, and he's doing a lot of things wrong. And you talking to him about the channel, being a gorilla, keep them in front of you, keep your man in front of you, teaching them all the right things about basketball. And then there's somebody telling him that, hey, you don't need to listen to the coach. Just like there's somebody telling him, hey, you don't need to go to school. You don't need to listen to your parents. So you're in a constant pull and tug with this young mind. And it's your job to shape and mold that young mind. That was the first thing that I found out that I could do really well. I could play basketball. And I had great coaches. Every coach that I had, coincidentally, is in the Hall of Fame. But once you get better at the game, then your self-esteem comes on. Then your personality comes out. And that's what you bring out of the kids. That shy kid that's on your team right now, or that poor kid that can't afford shoes, don't know where the next meal is coming from, mom or dad's not at home, being raised by aunt, uncle, grandmother, somebody. You're that kid's idol. You're the person that he or she looks up to. And when they grow up, they're going to come back and they're going to be just like you. They're going to talk like you. They're going to teach like you. And they're going to want to be just like you. And they're going to call you coach. They're going to call you coach. And when they call you coach, the way I grew up, that's better than them saying mister. Because when they start calling you coach, you've affected their lives. And there's a certain respect that's given when they call you coach.
Well, you know, I'm Tim Hardaway. I used to play for the Miami Heat, retired down here in Miami. Heard Isiah speak, done an excellent job. You know, he touched on everything I think coaches need to hear. It was a great seminar, and we talked about, you know, teaching, really teaching these kids how to dribble, teaching them how to split double teams. But the ultimate goal was telling the coaches, your job is never done. Your job is never done. The coaches have to go out there and do their job day in and day out, and understand that you can't catch a headache. You know, you just can't catch a headache. You got to help these kids out to play this game of basketball.